Yo, what's up everybody, it's your host, and today we're diving headfirst into the fascinating world of, wait for it, the Iranian military. Yeah, you heard that right. Because when you think military superpowers, Iran isn't exactly the first name on the list, right? But here's the thing, they've got missiles, drones, submarines, the whole shebang. Now I know what you're thinking, a bunch of dudes in the desert with rusty AKs, that's their military? And yeah, okay, some of their equipment might be older than your dad's favorite mixtape, but don't let that fool you. Iran has spent decades building up its forces, and they've learned a thing or two about punching above their weight. So buckle up, because in the next 10 minutes we're breaking down Iran's military might, from their wacky weapons to their unconventional tactics. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. First things first, let's talk shop. Iran's military structure, it's like having a 2-for-1 deal, except, you know, with tanks and stuff. You've got the regular army, the Artesh, the guys in green you'd expect. But then, there's the VIP section, the real muscle, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. Think of the IRGC like Iran's personal military branch. They've got their own army, navy, air force, the works. But here's the kicker, they also control the really fun stuff. The missiles, the drones, those things that go boom in the night. And they're not afraid to use them, but wait, there's more. Don't forget the basage. Imagine a million-strong volunteer militia ready to back up the IRGC at a moment's notice. They're like the neighborhood watch, but instead of flashlights, they've got RPGs. Now, within the IRGC, there's a special group, the real shot callers, the Quds Force. These guys are like the James Bonds of the Middle East, but instead of martinis, they prefer proxy wars. They're the ones pulling the strings, supporting groups like Hezbollah, making sure Iran's influence is felt far beyond its borders. So yeah, Iran's military structure, it's complicated, it's like a family dinner except everyone's armed and they're all trying to outdo each other. But one thing's for sure, the IRGC, they're the ones running the show. Let's talk ground forces. Now on paper, Iran's army looks like a Cold War museum on wheels. We're talking upgraded Soviet-era tanks, T-72s rolling in like it's 1985. They've even got their own homegrown version, the Zulfikar, which, let's be honest, sounds like a character from Game of Thrones. And don't forget the artillery. They've got Rod 2 howitzers, Fajr 5 rockets, enough firepower to throw a pretty decent fireworks show, if you're into that sort of thing. But here's the catch. Iran knows they can't win a straight-up slugfest with the US or its allies. They're not trying to. Instead, they've gone all in on asymmetric warfare. Think guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run attacks, that kind of thing. This is where the IRGC's special forces come in. These guys are trained for sabotage, urban warfare, basically making life miserable for their enemies. They're like that friend who always wins at hide-and-seek but with explosives. So while their tanks might be a little vintage, their tactics are anything but. Iran's ground forces are all about maximizing their impact, even if it means not playing by the traditional rules of war. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, but knowing how to use that knife to make the other guy really, really uncomfortable. Okay, let's talk air power. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. Years of sanctions have turned Iran's air force into a bit of a fixer-upper project. They've got some F-14S from the 70s, a few MiG-29S planes that are older than most of their pilots. Rumor has it they even have a couple of F-4 Phantoms still kicking around, planes that were literally designed during the Vietnam War. I mean, talk about vintage cool, right? Except not really. But here's the thing. Iran knows their air force isn't winning any dogfights anytime soon, so they've embraced the future, or at least a cheaper version of it, drones. Drones, baby. They've become Iran's weapon of choice, and for good reason. They're cheap, they're effective, and they can be a real pain in the neck to defend against. We're talking about the Shahed 136, the kamikaze drone that's been making headlines in Ukraine. Then there's the Mohajer 6, an attack drone that's basically a flying bomb with a really good camera. And let's not forget their air defense system. They've got the Bavar 373, which they claim is a match for the Russian S-300. Whether that's true or not, it's still a pretty big deterrent. So, yeah, their air force might be held together by prayers and spare parts, but their drones are a different story. They're a game changer, and they're only going to get more advanced. Alright, now let's dive into the exciting world of the Iranian Navy. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Iran? Navy? Don't they just have, like, inflatable rafts with rockets strapped to them? And yeah, okay, their Navy might not be challenging the US 6th Fleet anytime soon, but they've got one big ace up their sleeve, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway, it's like the world's most important oil pipeline, and Iran basically controls the tap, and they know it. So, instead of building aircraft carriers and battleships, they've invested in a swarm of small, fast attack boats. We're talking hundreds of these things, armed to the teeth with rockets, torpedoes, and probably a few surprises. They've also got a few submarines, mostly midget subs designed for sneak attacks. And of course, no Iranian naval force would be complete without a healthy dose of anti-ship missiles. The Noor missile, based on a Chinese design, is their go-to for ruining someone's day at sea. The strategy here is simple: harassment. They don't need to sink the entire US Navy, they just need to make it too risky and expensive to operate in the Persian Gulf. It's like playing whack-a-mole with the global oil supply. And now, for the main event, the thing that keeps Pentagon officials up at night: Iran's missile arsenal. This is where Iran really brings the heat. They've spent decades developing a massive stockpile of ballistic and cruise missiles, and they're not afraid to brag about it. For short-range engagements, they've got the Fateh 110, a road-mobile missile with a range of about 300 kilometers. It's accurate, it's deadly, and it's perfect for targeting military bases or, annoying neighbors. Then there's the Shahab 3, their medium-range ballistic missile. This bad boy can travel over 2,000 kilometers, putting Israel and US bases in the region well within range. And let's not forget their cruise missiles. The Sumar, a blatant rip-off of the Russian Kh-55, can fly low and slow, making it difficult to detect and intercept. Now here's the thing. While Iran boasts about having thousands of missiles, the actual number of operational, reliable ones is anyone's guess. Some experts believe that many of their missiles are outdated, inaccurate, or just plain duds. But even if a fraction of their arsenal is functional, that's still a lot of firepower. And with their focus on developing hypersonic missiles, Iran's missile threat is only going to get more serious in the years to come. So, there you have it, a crash course in Iran's military might. They may not be the shiniest tool in the shed, but they've got a knack for making do with what they have. They've turned asymmetric warfare into an art form, using a combination of aging equipment, cheap but effective drones, and a whole lot of bluster to keep their enemies on edge. Could they go toe-to-toe with the US or Israel in a conventional fight? Probably not. But that's not really their game plan, is it? They're playing the long game, using proxies, asymmetric tactics, and the ever-present threat of chaos to advance their interests. So what do you think? Is Iran a paper tiger or a legitimate threat? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.